Hey guys, so today's video is a little bit different. My setup, again, is a little bit different, but this is a video I've been wanting to make for a little while now. I want to talk about music accessibility because I tend to get a lot of questions regarding this, and in that I decided to reach out to some of my friends who are in bands and some of my friends in the deaf community and kind of put together what I feel like is a good group of topics to discuss regarding this. And with that said, let's go ahead and just dive right into this video. The first set of things I want to discuss is something that I'm really fed up with, and I feel like that I shouldn't even have to discuss it, but I do, so we're gonna talk about it. It's captioning and lyrics. Very few artists will caption their videos, and I'm not just talking about music videos. In this world of YouTube, I'm talking about the tour announcement videos, the vlogs, the tour recaps, all those kinds of things are never captioned. So this deaf and hard of hearing fan base that these bands have, all of that becomes inaccessible. So it's only reaching their hearing audience, which I do know that for most bands, the hearing audience is really what they're used to. But in this world where interpreting and sign language are becoming more mainstreamed, I would hope that bands start captioning their videos so it becomes more accessible. Now, I don't think I would do a very good job in explaining how to caption because the way I do it is very time-consuming. And if I'm being honest, I probably do it wrong. Not that I do it wrong, but there are easier ways to do it. I just give myself a harder time than I need to. So instead of me explaining what I do, I'm going to link in the description box Ricky Pointer's video about captioning because she explains it so much better than I could. So look in the description box for the video about captioning. Now, the next thing is lyrics. Now, this is something that's absolutely ridiculous to me, and I really, really feel like at this point in time, bands should not be doing this. But there are bands out there that refuse to release their lyrics, and that includes putting it in their little, not pamphlets, but the little things in their CD cases that I can't think of the word for, and I feel so dumb, but you know what I'm talking about. They won't release them online. They'll tell fans, oh, you know our songs, you can do it. No, sometimes what you are singing and what we are hearing are different things. So if us as the hearing fan can't truly take that apart and type it out, how are you going to expect the deaf fan to even understand your band or your songs? So you're not special by not releasing your lyrics. You're being pretentious. So just take the file on your computer that has all the lyrics written out and release them. It's not that hard, and it really helps everyone out to understand what you're saying. Like I said, not just the hearing fan base, the deaf fan base. Let's just work together to make your music more accessible, and that starts with your lyrics. So please, caption your videos and release your lyrics. It helps so much. Now, jumping right into the next part that I want to talk about is music videos, which does kind of tack along to what I said in the beginning about captioning, but this is taking that and going a little further. Before I fully dive into that, I kind of want to mention an artist that I don't particularly listen to, but I noticed she did something that's incredible. She took her album and hired a team of interpreters and had a video made for each and every song in sign language. Now, that goes above captioning because English and ASL are two completely different languages. And the fact that she recognized that and did that is just so incredible, and it made that album so accessible. And I know not everyone has the funds to do that, but I just wanted to mention that because this is talking about accessibility. Now, that we're on the topic of captioning and sign language in music videos, I want to mention something that keeps happening. Artists and bands will have sign language in their videos, which is great if you do it the right way. Sometimes it'll be an afterthought, which kind of completely defeats the purpose. Now, artists will hire someone that's completely qualified to be signing, but they'll make them an afterthought of the video and kind of pan to the signer for about 5 or 10 seconds and then pan over to the storyline or the artist doing their thing, and it just kind of kills the purpose of having an interpreter or a deaf talent or something like that in the video. So if you're gonna have a video with ASL, make sure that that is what it's about, not about the storyline. And another thing that I've noticed with a lot of people, this isn't about anyone in particular, is that the bands will try to sign, and if you put the time and effort into it, that's great, but you should also have deaf talent on hand and have them be the main signer of your video. Now, I'm not saying that bands should not sign and should not learn sign language. I truly believe that bands should be putting effort into learning this language so they can communicate with their fans. But in these videos, the deaf talent should be the main person, and if the bands want to sign in the video, I think that's fine if they choose like a specific verse or a simple chorus or a easy bridge to do that they could easily learn, so it doesn't look like they didn't put so much effort into it, and it still has the deaf signer as the main one. They just join that person for that part of the video. That is a way to kind of go around bad signing and show that you are putting effort into it and you recognize that you don't know this language yet, but you are trying. You want to learn, and after this video, you are going to continue to learn. That is something that's really important in this. If you're trying to be accessible and you want to put yourself out there as signing, you need to continue it past the video that you do, and make sure if you are in that video signing, it is clear, it is on par with what you should be signing and what you are conveying. No like half trying things really should be put out anymore. There's so many people that can help you. Like, deaf talent is your #1 resource, and so many people who are deaf talent want to be in your music videos, and you should be reaching out and trying to make your band accessible if that's your goal. Hire the deaf talent, and like I said about 20 times in this section, just join them for a part that you could learn without looking like a fool, so to speak. Now I'm gonna dive into the biggest part of the stuff I want to talk about, which is the live aspect, the shows that you do. Now, I have experience of doing it because, it's what I do, but there are things that I have noticed in doing this that I want to talk about, and things people have brought up to me that I want to talk about, and I did make notes on my phone because I don't want to leave anything out. The first thing is pretty obvious. Hire a qualified interpreter to do your shows. Just simple as that. The next thing is, when you have that interpreter, make sure there is a light on the interpreter. You don't want them to be in the dark when they're signing, because it's not that it kills the purpose, it just doesn't make things as clear for the deaf attendees to your show. And talking about the deaf attendees, let me just tack something onto that. Now, I know a lot of bands do their meet and greets and their VIP stuff that come with early entry, but your deaf fans should have early entry, and you should tweet or post on Instagram or something where the interpreter is, so when you give the fans the early entry, and I'm talking about the deaf fans should get early entry, so they get in before everyone else and get to go to the side of the stage that the interpreter is on. It just makes it easier for them to access the interpreter. And with that said, put your interpreter on stage. We're not there to steal your spotlight. We're there to interpret and do our job, just like you are on stage to do your job. By not having an interpreter on stage and having them somewhere else in the venue makes those fans have to choose whether they want to watch the artist or they want to watch the interpreter. And that's really not fair to them. So put your interpreter on stage and just feel comfort in knowing we are not there to steal your spotlight. We are there to interpret your sound, your music, who you are as a band. We are there to represent you in this language that you don't know. And with that said, is something that I kind of want to cover and explain a don't. There has been a situation where an artist threw a tantrum, like a literal tantrum, about me existing. And this is an artist that is not new to me, not new to what I do. Like, they are fully aware that I was going to do this. And then they saw me set up on their side of the stage, and they kind of had a full tantrum about it. And that's not okay, because I'm not there to take your spotlight. Actually, I take up a very small amount of space, because if you do know anything about sign language, you know about signing space. So I'm not gonna smack you in the face. Though sometimes with performance interpreting, signs do get bigger, but I am pretty good about being conscious about the surroundings around me. But with that aside, I don't choose where I stand on stage. I will go to someone working with the band, whether it's the tour manager, someone in the band, sound, tech, someone that knows their setup very well, and be like, okay, so I'm doing this today, where do you want me to go? And they will tell me where they want me to go, and I'll get my waters and check my ears, do the whole setup that I do to make sure I'm good to go for the show. And again, I'm not there to steal your spotlight. I'm not there to steal what fans have come to see from you. I'm there to convey a message. So just keep that in mind in the future. So the last two things cover both arena and GA shows. For your deaf fans, if you know you have a certain amount of deaf fans and your price point is kind of on the higher end, consider lowering your prices, or at least lower a group of prices for tickets for the deaf fans. Like, I'm not saying the bands who have shows for like $20 lower it. No. You keep it the way it is. That's perfectly affordable, sweetie. You keep doing you. You're doing great. But I'm talking about the GA shows that are more on the $50 end. Consider lowering it a little bit to make the tickets even more accessible. It's very important for you to kind of recognize that these fans need that easier access to your shows. If your set is beyond an hour, kind of check with your interpreter if they can handle that or how much beyond an hour it goes. And considering that, I will say this, having a tour interpreter makes things so much easier for everyone, because the audience will know that this person knows your show, knows the band well, has this kind of connection with the band in the show, and knows the banter and the songs and the transitions and everything that goes into the show. It's more comforting knowing that this person is fully aware of that because they do this every night for the same band. It just helps everyone feel more comfortable. And I know all bands cannot afford this because of budgets and things like that. But I'm saying if you do have the budget for it, shell out that expense. It really does help make everything more accessible. Now that I covered all the things that affect GA shows, I'm going to go into the arena section of it. The first thing is seating. Now, tacking on to the touring interpreters, if you know you're going to have an interpreter on tour, make sure you know where you want to put the interpreter for the whole show, or for the whole tour even, and section off some seats for sale. before tickets go on sale and have it a designated deaf section so that these seats are accessible to the deaf fan, so they are in front of the interpreter. And like I said before about seating, I know arena shows are very expensive to put on. I know they're expensive for the fans to buy, so consider lowering those prices so the deaf fan base can afford to go see the artist, because there is nothing more special than seeing an artist you love up close, live, and in person. It is so special for everyone. Just make sure you are doing everything you can to make it accessible for that fan base. And another thing, on top of having an interpreter, consider one of the screens behind you, throwing your lyrics up. You could have it in a fun way, like even, this is going to add on to what I'm saying next, but bouncing along to the rhythm even could help, but make sure if you do that, make sure the lyrics are still clear and readable. And now moving on to that next section, I'm going to talk about lights a little more. So behind the artist, sometimes they have visuals that tie into the aesthetics. And I'm not saying change your aesthetics, because I do recognize that bands have their own specific and special aesthetics that they put into their shows, which is fine and great, and I totally understand that. But maybe on top of your aesthetics, make sure that these visuals behind you kind of go along to instruments and bounce or whatever you choose to do to kind of depict the bass, the drums, singing range, the guitar, or some bands that have piano, or some bands even do sax and trumpets and horns and all that. Some bands are basically a full marching band. But consider those things and the sound waves, so deaf fans can feel a lot more when that is concerned, but still consider making it part of your show to be more accessible visually, which does help a lot. This last part may seem like something very simple, but it has been proven that it's not. If your deaf and hard of hearing fans are telling you something is inaccessible, you need to listen to them. They are not telling you it's inaccessible to mess with you or make you feel bad. They are saying it so you can do something about it. If your video content is inaccessible, which honestly it probably is, unless you're someone like Yungblud, who no one had to even tell him to caption everything, he just does it. But if you don't do that, do something about it. Get a captioning service or do it yourself. Do something about it to make that more accessible. If they're telling you your live shows are inaccessible, find a way to make them more accessible that works with your budget, because I promise you there is a way to make it work. If they're telling you anything else that maybe I didn't think to cover, leave it in the comments below, or just listen to your fans. Listen to them when they say it's inaccessible and do something about it. Because at the end of the day, these are your fans too, and you need to listen to them and be accessible as a band so that they can enjoy you just the same. I know that this video was a lot of information and I tend to talk fast sometimes, but my videos are captioned, so if you miss something, turn on your captions. But I'm going to leave some videos in the description, like some Ricky Pointer videos, some things that will help you understand better what equal access does look like, so you can kind of see how it works for other people, and maybe you can make it work for you and your band and your vision. So thank you if you sat through this whole video and listened to me go off about something I'm just really passionate about making happen. And maybe you learned something and will do something about it with your band. So thank you for watching. I'll see you at a show.